Welcome back, everyone, to Hearts of Iron 4 with the left KMT. And this time we're gonna attack the religious fanatics. And hopefully destroy them easily. Let's use the force attack, actually, to get the most of our superior firepower. Make sure that their army has no chance of actually competing with us on the field of battle. Excellent. Now, these guys, the Shangcheng, are actually the representatives of a type of religious belief that is quite common in Chinese history. Now, we've been just saying, like, the millenarians. What does that mean? That means, like, a religion that basically foretells an apocalypse that's gonna come on Earth relatively soon, and where, like, some, like, morally righteous leader of the people is going to overthrow, you know, wickedness and usher in a new era of, you know, golden age and prosperity for everyone. So it's like a basically utopian religion, utopian kind of religious belief. And they're, like, this kind of ideology has inspired a lot of popular uprisings throughout Chinese history and throughout, well, Asian history in general, but especially Chinese. And so what we're killing is kind of like our previous version of us, in that, you know, we are also a socially progressive revolutionary organization, but, you know, we have a secular ideology, while the millenarians are a religious type deal. Anyway, so as you can see, our much superior firepower is coming through, and we're just crushing them. And now that their army is basically trapped in this area, we can rush ahead towards their actual real heartland, because, like, these places I don't think are going to be their cores, no, they're colony states. So once we take over all the cities in Shandong province, which is this peninsula up here, we're going to have basically destroyed them. Oh, actually, he's got troops in Jinan. Interesting. His army is less of a pushover than I thought. Alright. Let's actually attack the city of Jinan from two sides. Woman Shah! In case you don't know what that guy is saying, he's basically saying, we kill. Shah in Chinese means kill. Or at least, well, I hope that it's that Shah, because it might also mean something else, because Chinese is a stupid language and sometimes things are confusing. Alright. Let's make sure that the AI knows what we're trying to do and is not being a retard. Alright. Is there any other decisions that we can take? Yeah, we can integrate Jiangxi province, which is this one down here. Definitely want to do that. What the hell? Ooh! The Guangdong People's Government, Chen Mingshu. This is great, because this guy is a KMT member. So this is kinda like us. Kinda. The Iron Army's legacy. Chen Mingshu's People's Government, or the New Guangxi takeover. The New Guangxi are also KMT members, but, and they're, I think, fighting right now. Yeah, the Guangxi clique. Oh no, this is the old Guangxi clique. The new Guangxi clique is another. This is so confusing. So basically, right now it's an alliance between the left, center left of the KMT and the right KMT, which is the new Guangxi clique. Chen Mingshu is center left KMT. And at the end, they can contest, or they can either contest the leftist rule, aka, you know, try to fight us, or join the KMT government, which is obviously what we want them to do, because that makes them join us. That is, you know, pretty good stuff. And if the KMT do not exist, they can claim the nationalist leadership, and they switch their focus tree to ours. But since we intend on existing, I don't think that that's going to be required. So that's actually really nice. Now let's see if we can do anything to. We can intervene in the Guangxi-Guangdong War if we had the political power to do so. We don't have any political power. Well, let's hope that. Let's hope that we can get political power early enough to be able to send support for them, because that is definitely going to help relations between our factions, and it's going to possibly make it more likely that they come to support us later on. All right. There we go. We've taken this focus liaison with the DVQDD rebels because they are the Dai Viet Kuomintang or whatever, Kuodandang, which is basically the Vietnamese version of the KMT, our sister organization in Indochina. And if this event is successful, and we definitely hope that it is, basically what it's gonna start is it's gonna start a few events where the Indochinese are gonna die. The last time I was able to save the Indochinese because I had been able to win the war with Anqing much earlier, but well, might have been a wasted focus then. Oh well, that's fine. We shall probably reorganize the nationalist cells, considering that's going to give us political power. Cooperation with the DVQQ. Yeah, let us cooperate with them. They're likely to accept, but you know, what can they offer us? Probably nothing. Sad stuff. Alexa, please play the Anthem of the Republic of China, which is the Three Principles. Trivia. In case you don't know the name of the Anthem of the Republic of China, and why wouldn't you? Our glorious anthem, you know, is the Three Principles of the People. And there we go, we're finishing up. Alliance with the DVQQD, or QDD. So, we've secured an alliance of mutual gain with Indochina. We'll now work together to ensure our ideals survive in Asia, blah, 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 of course. You know, we're gonna avenge the Indochinese, the brave Indochinese, soon enough. And there we go. The entire millenarian army is being wiped out. They're all surrendering to our glorious forces. What about Hunan Click? Are the Buddhicization Society going to join? Oh, right, we should probably take a look at this, the Chinese faction alignment chart. This is going to be quite helpful. So as you can see, the Guangdong People's Government down here is KMT aligned. The Hunan Clique is actually unaligned, so we should still take United Southern China so that we can war against them. Alrighty then. And the last holdouts are about to fall. Excellent, more military factories. Let us spam out the artillery, because that is going to be quite important. Excellent! It is ours. Infantry expert for Lin Biao. And I guess the next target is going to be the Hunan Clique. Now, Mr. Su over here can get himself guerrilla fighter. And his guerrillas are going to be stationed here at the Yangtze River. which is this big river, so that if the Qing declare war on us, right now we don't have the strength to face the Qing sort of on the open field in the North China Plain, which is this region. So we're gonna stand behind the natural protection of the rivers and the mountains while we move south. Huh. I like how because of different ideology they have a minus 30% opinion of us. Accurate. More military factories, thanks. We want to improve our military factory situation at the beginning. So, how much artillery is it gonna take? Still 450 pieces of artillery. So probably we should be getting some tungsten from Portugal. Thank you, Macau. All right. Please give us the political power before they win the war. Come on. Excellent. And we shall intervene in the Guangxi-Guangdong War. We should support our comrades who believe in the free people's principles, which is our ideology, which would make our revolutionary forces stronger. There we go. And let us hope that they are the correct believers of the free people's principles, and not the wrong leaders of the wrong believers of the free people's principles. Let us also support the KMT in Hunan, just in case these Buddhicization society people, you know, decide that the free principles are pretty cool after all, which they are. Reply from the Liangwang KMT. Unbelievable! Is the only sound that remains after the short silence and huge violent bursts of noise in the Kuomintang Central Committee. No matter why, how could those Liangwang Tsulao, I don't know what that means, decide to refuse our true kindness and not consider that this is about the revolution? Not only does this shock the committee members, but it also ignites a huge wave of dissent in our population. Although there are voices demanding the expulsion of the entirety of the Liangwang Kuomintang, our leaders said that the Liangwang Kuomintang are still our brother in the revolution, and the only reason that they refuse our support is because they don't want to increase the burden on the Central Committee. As if we would have trusted that. Okay, so these guys are pieces of shit. So they seem to try to assert their independence from us. And that is sad. Unlocks decisions to negotiate with the government. This is real bad shit. In the words of some very I guess sage people. All right. Well, we're gonna have the ability to go after these guys after the 1st of June. Well, basically after we take the first Repatriated Congress of the KMT, so let us rush down towards that. Okay, and also another thing we can do is we can integrate these other provinces. First I'll mobilize the NRA militia in Anhui province, because mobilizing the militias is always the priority. And then I think I'll integrate Jiangsu province, which is up here. Ooh. That is important news. So it looks like Mr. Yan Shishan over here is going to be fighting Qing. Alright, more militias. Good. Now this might be good or bad. Oh man, he's dumb. He actually went on the offensive. See, if he stood on the defensive, he could have bled the Qing dry. But since he's attacking, it's gonna make the Qing defeat him quite easily. Alright, now that we have taken these two things, we are going to rush down towards the first repatriated Congress of the KMT, where we are gonna basically decide upon our political alignments. Alright, can we actually negotiate with these guys? Because it says, like, negotiate with the... No, we cannot. We cannot negotiate with the Hunan clique. There we go. So Liangwang People's Government has taken over this place, the West. Yeah, we still have to see what kind of boy he's gonna be like, but ooh, Long Yun secures power in Yunnan. Ooh, interesting. We have some interesting people out here. Although Yan Shishan seems to be kind of holding against the Qing, and if he holds like really well against the Qing, that's going to mean that we can probably backstab the Qing instead. Like, the Qing have no bloody troops on the borders. And once we have done with the first repatriated Congress of the KMT, we can also prepare for the second Northern Expedition, along with uniting Southern China. And the second Northern Expedition is how we declare war on the Qing. Huh. Let us integrate Jiangsu province first, though, just in case. Peru-Bolivian Confederation? Okay, brother. Ooh, we're now starting to produce the guns. That is great. Produce those guns, brother. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Yeah, basically, if this conflict goes on for a little bit, that would be pretty good. Oh, wow. Actually, the Qing are not taking any losses. Now, what would be bad about taking Beijing, like, early, would be that you definitely put yourself in the sort of sights of the Japanese and their Fengtian lapdogs. You know, you're just kind of sitting there, and if the Japanese come over and try to kill you, yeah, shit goes bad. Ooh, syndicalism spreads to the Philippines. Interesting. Interesting. Alright, we have enough artillery production for now. Although, we're getting the extra, like, tungsten from the Portuguese. Might as well make use of it. No more Spartakid. Excellent. This is all going pretty well. Now, the main problems that I foresee in the future are basically the Japanese and the Fengtian government. I don't think that anyone else right now can really rival us in China. because we are on our way to creating a really, really strong army compared to everyone else. Thanks to the fact that we're spamming artillery, basically. Anyway, speaking of everything, now that we're taking the first Repatriated Congress of the KMT, we're gonna get a bunch of political events, so while it's been uneventful for a little bit, don't worry, it's going to come. So called to convene the National Congress. Many prominent members of the party have convened to discuss all matters of the state and organize the Kuomintang into a fully fledged government. The foundation for the Congress will be in the 1924 National Congress, which was set up to organize the party into an official government. Subjects varying from the reflection of past events to the status of syndicalist elements in our party will be discussed in length. So yeah, a series of events will occur depending on the relative popularities of the different KMT factions. At the end of the chain of events, a new faction may take control. Now, I plan, at least for now, on staying KMT Minsheng faction, the livelihood faction, which is radical socialist, but there's two other factions, the Minchuan populists, the social democrats under Madam Sun, the wife of Sun Yat-sen, Song Qinling, and also the Minchuan moderates under the son of Sun Yat-sen, Sun Fo, the Minchuan Pai. And there's also the totalists, the Zhongteju, which is kind of like it's kind of like our inter-party intelligence apparatus, which can happen with Dai's coup. I'm not sure exactly how you get them, but you can get them, so yeah. And it would be quite interesting. Deepen the party state. It would be a quite interesting thing to do for the memes, but oh well. KMT votes on adopting official history of the first northern expedition. After much build-up, the Revolutionary Army marched north against the Zhili in an effort to unify the country, and this failed. Many points have been brought up, such as the KMT lacking the people's support or intervention from foreign powers, specifically Germany. We should decide which of these arguments are more compelling to use as the root cause of the failure to unify the country. So either it was the imperialists and the traitors, which is what our faction says, or lack of support from the population. We definitely want to say imperialists and traitors because, so basically, what the Minchuan faction wants is that they are the democratic faction. Minchuan means the people's power. It is one of the free principles of the people, which is the ideology of our government. The other two are Minsheng, which is our faction, the livelihood, the people's livelihood. And the other is the Minsu, which is the faction, for example, of these guys, the New Guangxi. And the Minsu means nationality or ethnicity. So basically they're the, nationalists. Everyone believes in all three of the people's principles. It's just that different factions within the KMT put stress on different aspects of the ideology. Anyway, the question of ethnic autonomy. Much of China outside the 18 provinces have effectively become independent, and there are many. The 18 provinces are like the three northeastern ones. Zhili is the 4th, Shanxi is the 5th, 6th is Henan, 7th is Shandong. Then there are the 8 over here, and that's 15. And then there's Sichuan, 16, Yunnan, 17, and possibly Guizhou, 18. Maybe there is no Henan until a lot later, and then there's Shanxi. So basically it's this thing, sort of. Yeah. Mostly this thing, which are considered like the real provinces of China or whatever. Whereas everything here is, everything here is mostly just acquired stuff from the Qing period. Although Manchuria is also a weird thing, we're not going to get into it. Our goal is to unite all of the territory of the old Qing back into a single Chinese nation. And the territory of the old Qing is basically everything that is modern China, so, from Manchuria all the way to Tibet and to Xinjiang, East Turkestan, all these things, plus Mongolia. because Mongolia was also part of the Qing Empire. For example, if you look at the diplomatic, like, the diplomatic claims of the Republic of China, which is current-day Taiwan, they actually claim that Mongolia is a part of their country, because it's a legacy of these old territorial borders. Now, the People's Republic of China, which is the current government of China, has already renounced claims on Mongolia due to the, their brief alliance with the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union influenced Mongolia and had them as a satellite state. So in the negotiations, they used Mongolia as like kind of a sort of bargaining chip. Or like, whatever, we're going to give up the claims on Mongolia and say that they're, whatever, a brotherly nation, and you're going to give us shit. Now, I don't remember exactly when or why or what happened in this agreement, but, I just know that that's basically what happened. Same thing, by the way, for, like, the eastern territories by the sea, by the Pacific. That's Trans-Amur in Kaiserreich. These territories used to be part of the Qing Empire, along with basically all of this as well, but it got taken by the Russians in the 1860s. Like, for a while, basically, a lot of Chinese nationalist factions, like, kind of said that this was Chinese territory. And eventually they just kind of gave it up. Would the adoption of a federalized ethnic zones inside of Greater China allow for the security and allegiance of the non-Han peoples? Now, going back to our previous argument as to why, for example, the radical socialists would support different things, is because that their focus is on social revolution. As it says there, the faction that stresses the people's livelihood out of the ideology. So social and economic progress is their most important thing. And to accomplish that, they have a kind of top-down approach. Well, not really top-down, but, they have a kind of vanguard party approach. So, like, yeah, if to sort of enforce our program, we have to walk over the wishes of some people who are, perhaps too conservative and too reactionary for their own good, we're gonna walk over their wishes. While the Minchuan faction is like, yeah, but hold on a second, if we emphasize the democracy aspect of our revolution, we're gonna have more popular support. So that's basically the split right there. Now, in this case, well, normally I would be like, yeah, I want to pick the Minshang, so I'm gonna get more Minshang. I'm not sure if these actually have any other effects later on, but yes, federalizing the non-Han people, so basically the non-ethnic Chinese people, is a really, really good idea. So let's pick that one. So we're gonna pick the social democratic option instead of the rad socialist. Like you can see today, China still has a bunch of ethnic problems. The question of the syndicalist parties. The KMT's party program for developing China plans only that the KMT will be allowed to exist as a full, or that only the KMT will be allowed to exist as a full political party for a period of political tutelage. Now, the nationalists basically said that the national revolution would have 3 stages. First, military rule. Second, sort of one-party rule. And then multi-party democracy. That's basically what we're doing right now, the second period, which is the political tutelage. As a precondition of syndicalist aid, we have made exemptions for the Chinese Syndicalist Party, which are our syndicalist sort of brothers in arms. The Zhongguo Gongchuandang, and several other minor urban syndicalist groups. Should the syndicalist parties be given an exception to the ban on public recruitment in the realm of organized labor? So either no tutelage must extend to labor relations, so basically we control the trade unions, or yes, the Chinese labor should be able to choose to join syndicalist-aligned unions. No, we're gonna prevent the Chinese syndicalists from being too much of a hassle. New communications technology. Well, it ain't gonna save you when I come in with my artillery gun. Status of the Huangpu Academy. Now, the Huangpu Academy originally was in Guangzhou, in Canton. Huangpu is actually an island, like here-ish, in the middle of the Pearl River, which is this river, which was the military academy of the KMT government. A new academy for New China, or we will simply restore the academy. I say we will simply restore the academy because the only thing that thing influences is how much command power I get, which is, well, relatively sad. Anyway, we can also integrate Anhui province. Let us do that. Direction of the NRA. Now, this is the direction of the army. Either the manpower is key to unifying China, or modernization is the key to unifying China, which is definitely what we want to do. Because modernization is going to give us this focus, which is quite awesome. We're going to see what that does in a little bit. Now, let's check out the political situation in Sichuan and Yunnan. Now, Yunnan went Long Yun. A reflection on previous leaders. Okay, so we can all agree that both Sun Yat-sen and Chiang Kai-shek did a lot for the KMT. While it is up for interpretation whether these figures were good for China. Of course, Sun Yat-sen had many amazing qualities, however, he seemed desperate to hold on to power. And this could be... But this can also be interpreted as him trying to make sure that the KMT survives. Chiang Kai-shek is up for debate as he did a lot for the military, however, he also oversaw the failure or the disaster of the Northern Expedition. So either they were both good for China, but perhaps we could downplay how much, or they are the father and son of China, which is kind of funny because, you know, cults of personality. Anyway, so our Western neighbors, well, our Western friends, kind of. So we have, in Yunnan, we have Long Yun, which is the historical route, funnily enough. Report on the Jiangfu government. So Song Qinling has been the acting governor of Fujian province in the Jiangfu zone for much of the last 10 years. Her administration has, through creating a form of locally run one-party democracy, created an alternative vision for how the national revolution can be done that opposes the top-down nature of the Wang Jingwei program. Mingsheng faction members criticized the idea of the Jiangfu program being expanded to all of China. Fuck off, as being impractical, but its implementation has proven economically and militarily successful and very popular with Fujian province locals. So we can adopt a token resolution or officially recognize the experiment as a success. I mean, if it's a success, they can have it. So there we go. We are done with the... Oh wow, Mongolia. So it looks like the Ma's are in a deep shit. There we go. The Congress is over, and the Mingsheng faction will probably have, you know, come out victorious. So let's take the United Southern China. Come on. Event. Review the War of the 5 Provinces. A review of the current status of the National Liberation Zone and its recent expansion out of Jiangfu after the last campaign has been drafted by the NRA. The general consensus of all involved advises caution in moving north against the Jili too soon. Okay, so this is basically about like what commander we want, and I think we want division attrition minus 10% and entrenchment speed plus 10% and division defense plus 10%. Or supply consumption actually. So let's favor opportunism in the north. Supply consumption and division defense are very, very good, and that maybe is the end of the thing. Election of the new KMT Central Committee. After the series of debates during the Congress, Wang Jingwei has secured the control of the Kuomintang and will now serve as the leader of the Republic. He will begin to implement many reforms that were proposed to modernize our nation into a force that can unify this broken country. So our government is going to be Liao Zhongkai, Zhou Enlai, and Zheng Zhongming. Now, of these, probably the most famous one is Zhou Enlai, obviously, who is our foreign minister and, well, was the foreign minister of Maoist China for, well, effectively the foreign minister. I don't remember if exactly the foreign minister, but definitely de facto the man who created the foreign policy of the People's Republic of China and the second in command to Mao. But these other people are also relatively important, and we're gonna get to know them very soon. Chairman Wang's policy is always right. Without fucking Chairman Wang fought for China. Anyway, let us end the episode right here because it's already gone on for long enough. So yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. I'll see you soon. And as always,